Welcome, Vault Dwellers. My name is Nacho Bidness, and this is episode 4 of my No Loot Challenge run in Fallout 4. We're going to try and pick up the pace a little bit today, so if you're interested in why my character is all bruised up, as well as why I'm doing this run in the first place, as well as some rules and an in-game story for why we're not doing any looting, you can check out episode 1. If you want to see what mods and Creation Club stuff I'm using, you can look at episode 2, and episode 3 had just a few more rules clarifications in it. With that out of the way, what is our character's current status? Well, it is not great, but not terrible either. We have acquired our first disease. I did not realize, but you can actually catch a disease when you drop a quick save in survival mode. So that is unfortunate, but with no doctor and with no antibiotics in sight, we're just going to have to let that run its course. Mary is extremely tired. It's been well over 24 hours since she woke up in the vault. It's been something like 28 or 30 hours, and we have not slept yet. But it was too important to get a food supply secured, and I'm going to continue to not sleep because I need to keep an eye on those crops, and as soon as they're ready to harvest them so that they can get to growing again. As for water, we have a water fountain, and that is from Vault-Tec DLC, and that makes it easy to stay hydrated, at least when we're at home. We're hungry, but we're not starving yet. We don't have any food in our inventory. As for what we do have, we got a lead pipe here that I bought from Trash Can Carla, a striped suit that I got lucky and found in my own house. I pick up things that were in my home. We've also got the Vault 111 jumpsuit and a blood pack that I bought. I bought some bottles and filled those with dirty water in anticipation of hopefully cooking some crops. A couple purified water from some bottles that I found in my house and filled at my water fountain. A stim pack I found in my bathroom mirror, along with some bobby pins. Those are lucky. As for what else we've got here in Misk, there a holotape from my jerk of a dead husband, the Year Special book, and some mod control holotapes. And nothing else. I am really hoping to find some leather today to improve my vault suit. That is going to probably involve just very carefully going around and scrapping Sanctuary. I can't recall if there's a teddy bear or anything anywhere, but if I'm lucky, maybe there's one in a container that will get transferred to the workshop once I scrap those containers. But I am not going to make you sit here while I go and clean up Sanctuary. I am going to check back with you in a bit. I have just about completely scrapped everything in Sanctuary, and I have noticed a couple of things. First, crops that go into my workbench are not necessarily completely inaccessible to me, because that razor grain that I used for that noodle cup was not in my inventory, although the dirty water was. And that is good news. That is going to be just a little bit more utility that I can get from my settlements. Also, I can't remember if this person had showed up last time we spoke, but I do have a third settler at the moment. I have her running a scrap station. Not sure why she's not over there. Another thing that I have discovered is that your plants will never grow if you are too close to them. I could stand here and watch these things until my character starved to death, and nothing would ever happen. However, if I get about halfway across the Sanctuary Bridge, those plants are going to produce. I don't really understand why. I think maybe it has something to do with being outside of the cell where Sanctuary is located. However, it is not solely based on leaving and coming back, because I could do this again and these plants would not produce. It has something to do with the clock and not being exactly on top of these things for them to spawn. Not sure if I completely understand the rules behind that, but if you know what they are, I'd love to hear about them in a comment. You may notice that I still have left up the picket fences and trees around here. That is because the only thing that they are going to get me is wood if I scrap them. And since I am not going to be able to pick up the picket fences magazine, I thought there's really no rush to scrap those picket fences. Who knows, maybe I'll want them later. We talked last episode about traps, and I think one of my subscribers came up with a fairly good compromise, which was we can disarm traps, but the junk that we get from them we have to throw away. So I'm just going to crack this safe while I'm here for experience, and I am going to scrap it before I forget about it. Everything that was in the safe is going over to the workbench. As for the materials that I picked up, I think that I'm just going to come over here to the river and we're going to get rid of them. Oddly enough, I don't know why, but the copper and gears and springs will float. Actually, I guess the copper won't. The copper's just going to fall in the river. But it is going to disappear, and those other components just go floating away. As for that little piece of steel that I found, let's go ahead and drop it and just toss it into the distance. No gameplay advantage to me as far as having quote-unquote looted the components for that trap. You can see that my character's arm is crippled. I got into a tangle with a rad roach and lost. The rad roach is dead, and I believe that I have cleared out all the last of the rad roaches and bloatflies from Sanctuary. And because I have not taken the meat off of the bodies, so far they have refused to despawn and disappear. So I have just piled up the corpses over here. I'd be curious to see if those finally go away if enough time passes. As for where we stand, I am desperately tired, but we're almost ready to take some sleep. I'm going to do a little bit more gardening, and then we're going to get fed up and get a nice sleep, and we'll figure out what to do after that. Few real-world hours have passed, and a few in-game days have gone by. Thought I'd just kind of check in and let you see how things are going. I have 5 settlers now, which is great. I'm not sure exactly why, but they are 2 teenage girls and 3 women. And although I'm not sure why that should be, I do think it is at least in keeping with Mary's character as a survivor of domestic abuse, that she would want to make a safe place for women. So maybe we'll keep up with that theme as the game progresses. Nevertheless, I have set up a second scavenging station for the 5th settler because we have enough farmers for now for everything that we've got going. We've got 5 of everything except potatoes. We did get lucky and we were able to find and buy our first potato from Carla. Another thing that I have done in the intervening time has been I set up some additional turrets so that we get some additional defense value, and I just made some very small, easy turret stands for them. I have to be careful about doing recreational building though, because although it is a good way to kill time while I wait for crops, it does gain experience points, and I don't want to level up too fast. Because my character is so very poorly equipped, I don't want my levels to get too high because the enemies will scale levels with me. As for other things that we have done, I did take a quick run over to the ranger cabin just to try out killing some bloat flies and just kind of check and see how my character was doing in combat. It's not good. We did not pick up the survival guide that is there, unfortunately, because we can't. I also took a quick jaunt over to Abernathy Farm to see if Connie had anything else for sale. She didn't. And I cleaned up Red Rocket. So we are just about ready to start recruiting people over there. As for where my character stands, she's doing pretty well. I've got food now. I've got a steady supply of food coming in. In fact, I have a surplus, which is going to be important because that is probably going to be, well, one of the major sources of income for me. I was able to get a very temporary short injection of caps because when you scrap Sanctuary, you get around 1,000 steel. And I was able to take that, and at the chemistry station, using one of the DLCs, I was able to make these caltrops, and they're 5 steel a piece. They're worth 25 caps, and you can sell them for around 12
I'm cutting
caps.
away from the main video because I forgot to say something earlier that I thought was important to mention, and that is that I have to restrict myself a little bit on just how many caltrops I make. And that is because I've got this initial supply of steel from scrapping Sanctuary, but once that's gone, it's gone. The only way to get more, if I need to do additional building in Sanctuary or for improving weapons or whatever, is to buy shipments of steel, and those are horrendously expensive. So I definitely need to save some. Wow, Codsworth, you are really in the way there. I definitely need to save some steel here, and it means that that is not going to be my primary source of income going forward. That is why I have been so insistent about getting crops going, and why I'm going to end up with probably a fairly gigantic farm here, because crops are something that is sustainable and renewable that I will be able to use as a source of income for my character. Sorry about the little interjection, but I just wanted to make sure that you were able to understand what my strategy is going to be going forward. Back to the main video.
So I made over 100 of those, and with that I was able to trade with Carla and get some really great stuff. I got a lot of junk, but I also was able to get myself another couple of bottles so I can cook some additional food. The more uncooked food I eat, the more my rads are going to go up, and that is definitely going to start becoming a concern soon. I really need to think hard about concentrating on getting supplies together for a decon arch. I was also able to get myself a little bit of leather and improve a left leg and get myself just a few pieces of armor and improve my vault suit. And finally, I was able to get myself a baseball bat. I have improved that a little bit. I took Blacksmith 1 to be able to get the baseball bat going. I am definitely on the lookout for more frag mines. Until I have enough frag mines, I don't think I can go into Concorde and face a deathclaw. But I was also able to get myself a couple of guns and a Molotov, which is great. I want to take this pipe bolt action pistol and eventually turn it into a rifle with a scope. Don't have the resources for it right now, but it's definitely on my mind. As for ammo is crazy expensive if the only way you have to get it is buy it. So I'm still going to have to be extremely careful with when I shoot. And just a couple of mods here that were taken off of those weapons that I bought when I improved them. We can sell those for a few additional caps. And I think that is probably going to be it for now. I know that this is a very slow process, but that's kind of what I signed up for with this particular rule set. It's just going to be very slow and grindy. That said, next episode we are probably going to stop going into quite as much explicit detail on everything that we're up to, and we'll start skipping ahead a bit. I hope that next episode we can finally have a little bit of action. And I hope that you will be looking forward to that. Until then, be sure to hit the like button on this video, and if you want to be notified about the next one, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell. If you did not like, please tell me why in a comment, because constructive criticism is the best way that I know how to improve. Until next time, I'm saying my name is Nacho Bidness. It's a great big wasteland out there. Let's go have fun in it.